Howdy and welcome back to the Blossom Review. How are you? Today we're talking about TVN's wonderful Law in the City, which came to a close last Sunday. This review is spoiler free, so if you haven't watched the show yet, don't worry about it. Let's get started with the premise. So the premise is very straightforward. The Law in the City is a 12-episode drama that can only be described as a legal slice of life, as it follows the everyday lives of 5 associate attorneys working in Seoul's Socheodong legal district. So Law in the City isn't a legal drama? Not really. And it isn't a romance either. It is a proper and authentic slice of life. Let me tell you why. Law in the City feels like a blend of TVN's Hospital Playlist and JTBC's Miss Hammurabi, taking the sense of profound camaraderie from the former and mixing it with the sharp social critique of the latter. The complete and total absence of any kind of exaggerated drama gives room for the ordinary to shine, celebrating the little victories, the challenges, and the helping hands that surround us every day. There is something very comforting about Law in the City because this is a story about life, really. With every installment, the narrative becomes progressively warmer, shedding this superficial layer of legal terms and technicalities to show a more humane, tender side of its characters. At first, An Joo-hyung, played by Jong-suk, Gang Hye-ji, played by Moon Ga-young, Cho Chang-won, played by Gang Yo-sok, Bi Moon-jung, played by Ryu Hae-young, and Gang Sang-gi, played by Im Song-jae, are introduced as lawyers. There isn't much more to them, except for the fact that they always eat together. But even over lunch and dinner, they are always talking about work. They drown behind piles of paperwork and attend trials that have nothing of the melodrama that we often see on TV. They have distinctive personalities, yes, but at first they seem to be mere cogs in the legal machine that keeps Socheodong moving. But slowly, Law in the City allows the personal and professional lives of its characters to intertwine naturally. These 5 lawyers suddenly become 5 individuals with their own history, their own values, and their own emotions. The narrative brings us closer and closer to them, taking us to their homes, to their families, and to their memories. Soon, Law in the City becomes a story populated by different backgrounds and realities. It often breaks convention by simply, yet successfully, making characterization just a tad more realistic. For example, Moon Jung is happily married. Joo-hyung and Hye-ji have a solid romantic background that doesn't just include their unforgettable first love. So the series is full of these little things that allow these characters to feel more like real people, someone who could be your friend or your neighbor or even yourself. Episodes aren't defined as much by the case of the week as they are defined by the peaceful rhythm of our characters' existence. They go to work and have lunch together, they have parents to take care of, they have partners to share their lives with, they have old classmates who need advice, they laugh and complain over drinks, but most importantly, they always support one another. The dynamic between Joo-hyung, Chang-won, Moon-jung and Sang-gi is characterized by the comforting familiarity, sincerity, and banter that you would find between longtime friends. Hye-ji, who is the last one to join the group, instinctively and quickly blends in, and before long these 5 individuals establish a bond of care charged with effortless chemistry. Almost in the background, romance unravels gently but resolutely. In the best way possible, there isn't anything magical about romance in Law in the City. We see two ordinary people falling in love as they work together, they take the same bus, and they spend time with each other. There are no poetic declaration, no life-threatening falls, or heart-stopping rescues here. New romances blossom quietly, avoiding cliché love triangles with absolute finesse. Meanwhile, established ones between Moon-jung and her husband, the utterly marvelous Jong-suk, played by a perfectly sweet Kyun-sung, are portrayed with heart and tenderness and patience. Moon-jung and Ji-suk are adorable together, and it's beautiful to see how they keep reaching out to each other despite their personal challenges. Law in the City resonates thanks to these 5 wonderfully rounded characters who guide us through their journey. With every meal and every case, we realize how kind our protagonists actually are. We realize how much meaning they find in their job and how much responsibility they feel for the people who hire them. The narrative actively illustrates the distance they would go for each other, for their loved ones, for their jobs, and for their clients. Despite their different backgrounds and personalities, there is a common thread linking them all together. They want to do their job well, they want to help others, and they want to make the world a more just place for everyone. However, life is not all roses. These people aren't perfect. They don't always win. Things aren't always fair for them. Exercising the law isn't all black and white. After all, society is full of exceptions and explanations and conditions. Law in the City gently presents the complexity of the social fabric. It doesn't preach, it doesn't give us answers, but it offers a lot of questions. It asks its protagonists to look at the world around them through different perspectives, encouraging us to reevaluate our own beliefs and attitudes alongside them. The narrative always allows a difference in morals to be the foundation for most interpersonal conflicts in the story. Besides their very diverse clients, Law in the City uses the protagonists' managing partners as very effective foil characters. That is, they often contrast with the protagonists in order to highlight their qualities. So with its wide range of lawyers and clients and workers, as well as the curious landlady Kim Hyun-min, played by the wonderful Yeon Hae-rang, Hyun-min Building makes for a bustling, nurturing setting. Their interpersonal dilemmas ignite internal conflicts, allowing our characters to grow. Our 5 protagonists are always changing, but just like in life, their growth happens quietly and can only be seen in hindsight. Throughout Law in the City, our main characters discover who they are, what they believe in, what they are capable of, and what they want. The idea of self-discovery always sounds a bit grandiose, but Law in the City proves the opposite. Their journey of self-discovery is ignited by ordinary challenges, happening almost casually as they take one step after another towards an unknown but inevitable future. But gradually, their new ways of seeing themselves and the world around them allow for more mindful decisions. They make more conscious choices, betting on changes that will continue to shape them into the people they want to become. Strangely enough, for a legal drama, technically speaking, Law in the City is structured and presented as an authentic slice of life. The script seamlessly takes us from one character to another, portraying our 5 protagonists as a unit, as different pairs, and as individuals. And then you also have food. Food is a vital element in Korean culture, and it is used here throughout the entire series as a tool, as a very effective tool for socialization, emotional connection, and care for mental well-being. Socializing over food actually complements the familiarity that the show proposes, contributing to the establishment of this overall mellow, gentle, tender tone that the show has. The color schemes and the lighting setups are always very muted and very soft. The compositions are more realistic than overtly artistic. Besides the visuals, director Park also offers some excellent direction of actors. The supporting and guest roles are all delivered with precision, while our main cast does an excellent job at giving profoundly nuanced performances as well. So the final question is, should you watch Law in the City? A breath of fresh air, Law in the City isn't your typical drama, exactly because it bets so earnestly on the emotional resonance of our common routines. Charming, witty, and warm, this is the story of ordinary people who do their very best to become better individuals every day. With a dash of romance, a healthy dose of friendship, and a total lack of melodrama, the series is an accurate and tender portrayal of our everyday lives, with its joys and struggles, with its victories and injustices. Law in the City would make for a perfect companion for those who enjoy healing fiction novels, or for those who are looking for a comforting slice of life that isn't afraid of commenting on the social challenges that mark our society. Law in the City is available on Viki and on Disney Plus, depending on where you are. Quick reminder that this review is also on the Blossom Review, but on the Blossom Review, this review is a little bit longer. We break down the characters, character arcs in a bit more detail. So I'll leave a link in the description if you guys want to give it a read. I really hope that you leave a comment with your own thoughts and ideas on Law in the City. And I also hope that you like this video and you subscribe so I can see you here every week for a new review. Guys, thank you so very much for being here. Have a wonderful day today, and I'll see you very, very soon. Big kiss.